In this tutorial, we're going to go over the PTZ tab in the configuration screen. So go ahead and click the configuration button. Click the PTZ tab. And there's quite a bit at your disposal here in this screen. Obviously, if you don't have a PTZ camera, you can completely ignore this because none of these settings are going to apply. But if you do have a PTZ camera and you've set up all the hardware appropriately, and we'll address that in a different tutorial, how to connect your PTZ camera to your computer's hardware and how to set it up. This is primarily going to deal with how to adjust the settings in the DVR software so that the software will interface properly with your PTZ camera. But the first thing you want to do is make sure enable camera control is checked here. If you don't check that, then none of these settings are going to be applied to your PTZ camera. Under parameters here, you have to make sure that the correct protocol is selected. You have several here. If you purchased your PTZ camera from eDigital Deals, you want to make sure that this is set to Pelco D. The baud rate here, again, depending on the camera you have several settings here. If you purchased your camera from eDigital Deals, this would be set to 2400. For the COM port, this depends on your system. If you purchased a DVR from eDigital Deals, then you're going to change this to COM 2. If you purchased a set of DVR cards from us and you're going to be using a PTZ camera, generally this would stay at COM 1. It kind of depends on the motherboard that's in your system. If you only have one COM port and it's attached to your motherboard, and when I say COM port, that's the serial port or RS-232 port. So if you purchase cards from us and you installed them in your own system, then you're probably going to have to leave this set to COM port 1. And here for pan speed and tilt speed, it allows you to adjust how quickly the PTZ camera pans and tilts. These settings are only going to be relevant if your camera supports these settings. And that's pretty much it for the camera itself. You simply click apply, and it'll take a moment or so for it to apply those settings to the camera. And then you click OK. And then it'll take you back to the main screen. And the way that you would control your PTZ camera, you would select the screen where the video's coming in from your PTZ camera. And let's say it's the one here called Office. You make sure that it's highlighted, and then you go over here to this section and you can make adjustments to the focus, the iris, the zoom using these buttons here. So you just have to make sure that the appropriate screen is selected, and then you can take advantage of these controls over here for the actual camera.